Cool, I'm just pressing go live over and over again. It's not. Oh, maybe it's
Hmm.
working now with this little buffering thing. We should be good to go. Let's see how this gets on. Blessed be the holy and undivided Trinity, now and forevermore. Peace be with you, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 5 of Tenconi Talks, live and direct from Tenconi Towers. The moment you've all been waiting for. Can you believe that it's Wednesday again already? Let us start by saying a massive welcome back to my hero, the mighty Father Calvin Robinson, live and direct in afternoon time in America. Hello, Father.
Hello, how are you?
Yes, I'm incredibly well, miraculously well. None of it makes any sense. We've got a packed show today, guys, and let us start, as always, by saying, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. As ever, we're going to be updating you on the latest from news and events from UKIP HQ. And once again, I'm privileged to be joined by our lead spokesman, Father Calvin Robinson, giving time out of his day and ministry to support us on our crusade to restore order in Britain and to take back our institutions, which have been robbed rather undemocratically from us as well, by all sorts of horrible, nasty, lefty people with subversive intent on our Christian brothers and sisters, and indeed on this, a Christian land. And we're going to talk more about the topic of whether Britain is a Christian land or not, as I have some images to go through with you, Father. And we're going to dissect and we're going to unpack, not that we need to or explain ourselves, but just to re-inspire our patriots who potentially lose hope in the face of such nonsense from the online commie left, especially this time of year, always in the build-up, the beginning of Advent and a new liturgical season, and of course the build-up to Christmas. We're going to talk about patriotic wins on the right. We're going to talk about Labour's new immigration stance. We're going to talk about anti-Christian propaganda and anti-Christian policies. We're going to talk about the left-wing extremism we saw on Saturday in Bristol. We're going to be talking about me confronting Afghan traffickers in Calais. We're going to be talking about abortion. Yes, we're going to be talking about abortion. And we're going to be talking about my attendance in Hillingdon and Crowborough next week. So let us begin. Father, have you had a chance in any way to assess any of the footage that we put out from Saturday just gone, where I was in Bristol speaking on behalf of the Patriots?
No, I haven't seen anything from Saturday.
Excellent. So what we'll do is then, that tees me up nicely to show you. I think so. So we're gonna start with this. Check out Antifa fighting the police in Bristol. This is just one Now, we've got another clip where we're going to see Antifa. So for those of you who don't know, Antifa stands, if you're a communist, Antifa stands for anti-fascist. You see what they did there with the word Antifa, anti-fascist. But they are fascist in orientation. So let's take a look at another video we've got here for you, Father, as well. It's far left in Bristol on Saturday.
wedged in with the police, heavy police presence.
Just going to unmute my mic and hopefully this travels through on top of the video. So you've basically got, towards end of play on Saturday, you've got Black Bloc dressed up, you know, my first day in activism, Antifa, far left extremists. They're communists. They openly declare that they are Marxists, communists, anarchists. This was towards the end of the day, the clips that you're seeing, Father. This was towards the end of the day where they found out where myself and Patriots were enjoying a pint post the match. And then the riot police are sort of all over them and they stop them and they search them. So they've done their job there. Let's also, to contextualize the first talking point, let's take a look at one more video.
I see Julie Stokes and Donna Randleston were there on Saturday with the Bristol Patriots, apparently.
We've got a little bit of delay here, which is really annoying, but it should be coming through, guys. Is it coming through on your screen, Cal?
No, I don't. I just see you and me.
Oh, well, that's it. Front view, that is. Right, here we go. Let's try that again. So this video that I'm trying to show you all, this is what we see so often on the front line. And when we go to far left nests especially, but whenever there's Antifa, communists, far left extreme, even with the Palestine flag. So check out this, guys. You've got the Palestinian flag. You've got the communist flag. That's why we call them the Reds. You've got that red flag there. That's the communist flag. You've also got the Palestinian flag. You've got the anarchist flag as well, the trans flag. And this is what we call the unholy alliance. So for those of you who don't know, or maybe you're curious to know, or you know a little bit but not enough, you've got to understand what far left extremism looks like, what it sounds like, and who's part of that as well. You know, is it Marxists? Is it socialists? Is it liberals? But once again, we see the communist flag next to the Palestinian flag. Now, if I was running a march or a demo, as I frequently am, or an event, and an extremist flag went up with a very controversial flag, i.e. one that's linked to terrorism, I'd be the first person to have those flags and those people with those flags both taken down and removed. And then obviously we'd have to speak to them and ask them why they've done that. Are they confused? Is it a dare? Have they had one too many sherbets, for example? And they'd be spoken to. And if they didn't understand what they were doing, that's one conversation. But if they did understand what they were doing, then obviously they're ejected and they're not allowed back anywhere near me or my protests or my demos. But we see this all the time, Father. The communist flag side by side with the Palestinian flag. Now, you're obviously in the States. You've got it over there as well. What's your take on seeing the communist flag with the Palestinian flag and so frequently as well? What does that mean to you?
It's terrible, really. The fact that we have a foreign flag being flown in our country is bad enough. So there should never be a Palestinian flag any more than there should be an Israeli flag. The flag of England, Wales, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and the United Kingdom, they are the 5 flags that we should see in Britain. They are the only 5 flags we should see territorial-wise. But then, of course, they fly the commie flag too, which they'd be upset if you flew a Nazi flag, yet somehow they think it's okay to fly a communist flag, a regime that's killed over 100 million Christians. It's an evil regime that everyone should be against. But for some reason, in their warped perspective, they see communism as a good thing. It's bizarre. And then, while they're flying these flags, they're walking around with their faces covered. They've always got these masks on, haven't they? It's cowardliness is what it is. On one hand, they're holding up their extreme ideology, and on the other hand, they're afraid to put their face and their name to it, which tells you it's not good. If I believe in something, like I believe in Jesus Christ, I'm going to believe in it openly, fully, boldly, with my face and my name. If they believe in something they know it to be secretly evil, they're going to hide their intentions. They're going to hide who they are, and that's what they're doing. The cowards.
And what do Hamas soldiers do with the little My First Mask and the little green headband? And what do the IRA do? And what do Antifa do? Is it starting to make some sense, guys? That was so beautifully put there. You see, these people, I'm a political leader saying that the communists are domestic terrorists. And I think that Britain's mind has just been shaken. Like, what on earth? The closest we got to talking about communism was Thatcher in the 80s and, early 90s, but obviously she was gone by then, give or take an inch. But it's true. These people see themselves as freedom fighters. They don't see themselves as terrorists. They see themselves as brothers in arms. That's why they refer to each other in solidarity and as comrades. It's all what they've been taught about the resistance, the intifada, the struggle to overthrow Western civilization. And we did this last week, didn't we? We're going to come on to talk more about Christianity, the fact that Britain is built on Christianity, that Britain is a Christian land, and that we must return to the faith. So to link up all these different segments we're going to talk about today and linking it to what Father has just said, if you believe wholeheartedly in your cause, in your mission, in who you are, what you're doing, the book that you read, what you stand for, would you cover your face? That's an interesting conversation. Let's take a look at this last little clip because I'm really enjoying the delay and the buffering stuff. So we're going to get that sorted out, guys. Hang in there and bear with us. Let's have another look at this video.
Right, so don't do it. Don't do it. But one was threatening me straight away while I was doing this filming. Okay. I know, all I'm doing is filming on both sides of the protest.
I know, mate, but it's antagonising. There'll be a breach of the peace, won't there?
Well, they're antagonising, not me.
But listen, there is a lot of them and one of you. Okay?
That's fine.
So we have to make a judgment call on who we move. Do we move all of them, or do we move?
Why are they still? Okay. All right, can I ask you a question? Yeah. Why are they still wearing face masks when there's a Section 60 AA in place?
Bear with. We're going to try that again. So this clip that I'm trying to show you guys, this is a clip of one of the influencers, or whatever they're called nowadays, doing a fantastic job of reporting from the front line. And he says to the two police officers, where Antifa are essentially assaulting him, he says to the two police officers, do something about that. And the guy in the jacket, there's two guys wearing high-vis jackets, two riot cops. The guy says, look, there's so much more of them. Look, let's try the clip again. There's so much more of them. It did work.
I did hear that.
Did it work?
Yeah.
Did you?
Right, so don't do it.
Don't
do it. But one was threatening me straight away while I was doing this filming.
So I'm going to move you.
Okay. I know, all I'm doing is filming on both sides of the protest.
I know, mate, but it's antagonising. There'll be a breach of the peace, won't there?
Well, they're antagonising, not me.
But listen, there is a lot of them and one of you. Okay?
That's fine.
So we have to make a judgment call on who we move. Do we move all of them, or do we move?
Why are they still? Okay. All right, can I ask you a question? Yeah. Why are they still wearing face masks when there's a Section 60 AA in place?
Yeah, you're right.
Why?
Okay, we're taking a targeted approach around Section 60 AA. Right. It's not carte blanche. We're taking people's face coverings off. Okay?
Right. Okay.
And it's going to be intelligence led, and where we need to.
So about you being held here for your own security, apparently.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the Avon and Somerset Police have done an amazing job today, and credit, as always, credit where credit's due. The reality is that Antifa, the far left militia, have decided to find out where we Patriots are enjoying a pint, and the scene around the corner tells the story. The police have detained them, and they're searching them for weapons. So a massive thumbs up and well done to Avon and Somerset Police for doing their job, and great to hear that lefties that are in pursuit to cause harm to patriots are being stopped and searched for weapons, and we know, and the police know, they carry weapons as well. Sling them in jail. Get communists, far left, violent extremists. Get rid of them.
Well said, that guy.
Right, guys. Well said, whoever that man was. So, look, sorry about the delay there, but as long as it's coming through, all right. So, look, there you go, guys. You've got it. We've all got everything that we need to motivate and inspire us. Now, let's start linking some of this up to what I'm going to bring you on for, Calvin, in with regards to the might and to the threat of the unholy alliance. Look, we've led the charge in unpacking this alongside other good patriots, historians, good men and women who have stepped up, clergy, but not enough people in a position of prominence talk about far left extremism, communism. Our enemies, all they do, far right this, far right that, far right the other. It just rolls off the tongue. As soon as you say someone's far right, that's it. They think Hitler, they think Nazi, they've got you. It's such slick propaganda. Now, if I call them left-wing Nazis in the comment section, and what are your thoughts on this, Father? If I call them left-wing Nazis, I'm leading the charge single-handedly sometimes, it feels like. Guess what's in the comment section? They're saying, well, there's no such thing as a left-wing Nazi. There's no such thing as a left-wing extremist. We're all really good people. You can't write the level of narcissism and evil. Of course, you could debate that the Nazis were left-wing extremists. Now, where do you come in on this, Father? You know your history and you know your subject matter when it comes to such a problematic conversation. Would you have said Nazis were far left or far right, or were they both?
Yeah, I think they were probably both. They were far right in that the implementation was through fascism, but they were far left in that they were nationalist socialists, and socialism is, of course, an ideology of the left. But the reason that the left continue to say far right, Nazi, well, there's two reasons. One reason is deflection, right? And so they'll constantly throw out labels and attacks and ad hominems to make us look like the bad guys so that no one's looking at them, right? They are the extremists. The hard left are extreme. These people with their face masks holding up communist flags are essentially saying they support the mass genocide of Christians across the world throughout history. That's essentially what they're saying. They are extremists. So on the one hand, they're using deflection or projection, where they're accusing us of the very things that they are guilty of. But on the other hand, the other reason that they call us these names is because they know they dehumanize us. The moment you call someone a Nazi, you can do or say whatever you like to them, even kill them, as we saw in the case of my friend Charlie Kirk. And this is, that was the catalyst that said to the far left or the hard left extremists, if you do not like someone, call them a Nazi, and if you do that enough, some crazy person is going to come out there and try to kill Hitler. Because this is what we've all been indoctrinated with since childhood. In our schools, we don't learn about good versus evil. We don't learn about God versus the devil. What we learn about is, liberalism versus Hitler. And that's the caricature of good versus evil in our modern context, that liberalism is good, right? Freedom to do whatever you like, freedom to be enslaved to sin is good. And Hitler is the enemy. He is Satan incarnate in the modern context. And those things are ludicrous. And they are the reason that people cannot discern good versus evil, because we should be teaching good versus evil in terms of the scriptures, in terms of sacred tradition, in terms of what has been revealed to us by our God. In a Christian nation, we should be saying these things and we should be doing these things. But for some reason, the left has been indoctrinating us to their own ideology, because leftism is essentially a religion. It's a new religion that's replaced the old religion. Our country, England, has been Christian since its inception in 927 AD. Until very, very recently. And now it has a new faith, which is woke. And woke is just a mask of communism, of Marxism. And it's a very evil mask.
I tell you what, you should be charging by the minute. You're getting gold, guys. This is absolutely brilliant. So I'm gonna separate. So I still want to stay on the Unholy Alliance on Saturday before we move on. So but I'm going to remember an awful lot of this. Those of you who are listening, you'll have heard Father say twice now that communism's an ideology that's gone after and has essentially killed 100 million Christians. Now, for those of you listening, you'll have heard that, and it will have rung. So half of that camp that have heard it will think, well, yeah, I knew that, and I know about history. And the other half will think, wait, what? Communism is literally the hatred. It's a lot of things, but it's that in terms of culture and faith moving away from economics, it is the absolute hatred of truth, justice, beauty, and light, i.e., the one true faith, Christianity. It is something that has been used throughout the centuries, over the last 100 years, 100 million, and it's always been directed at Christians. So do we all know our facts and stats with regards to the communist plot to wipe out Christianity, to wipe out truth, justice, light, and love? In Britain, we have no time left, and myself and surrounded by an absolutely fantastic, dedicated, loyal team. And yeah, our members are great and our supporters are great. But guys, there's a reason why the logo looks the way it looks now, which is to be updated. Obviously, that's a little bit of a process. There's a reason why the missions are what they are. There's a reason why I'm saying the things that I'm saying. This quite literally is a holy war. And as Calvin rightly says, it's always been taught that it's liberalism versus Nazism, but liberalism is a form of fascism. It's one of the most extreme ideologies out there because it says no rules. It says no boundaries. It says love is love and you can do whatever you want and be happy. This is the devil whispering in our ears to say such absolute tripe. And it's one the millennials were sold, and the millennials went on to foster, and obviously we have to break that cycle now, because it is actually about duty, it is about boundaries, it is about foundation, it is about knowing where we've come from. And what do the left want to do? They want to rewrite history, burn books, and obviously issue cancel culture to our Z alphas or whatever they're called coming up now in the schools, etc., etc. So listen to Father. He's giving you absolute pearls right now. Now, this is what I want to play next. We'll look forward to the buffering, and then we'll conclude on this piece about the unholy alliance. Check out what the Imam of Peace has got to say about these.
There's a paradox.
Leftists.
In America, we have a political left.
Let's
it's a progressive left.
Abdul over in
As
Saudi.
you know, it's sexually permissive. And this political movement appears strangely allied with radical Islam. Can you explain this?
Just connecting
when I
to
was
Saudi,
an extremist, Islamist, fundamentalist, I would only vote left.
Why is that?
I saw them as very stupid. I would fear the conservatives because they come with principle. That's not someone they can brainwash. But the left, I know they have no values and no principles to begin with. I dare you to find one Islamic extremist that votes for Donald Trump. Never do it. They'd give their vote to the leftist who wants to run around in pride parades. And Islamic extremists are against gays and homosexuals and transgenders, but they want the left to go and get busy with that. They want them, go speak about the climate, go speak about abortion, go kill yourselves, go do that. And Omar, she's fighting for abortion rights and all the other, my body, my choice. Yes, go do that. But would she have an abortion? Never. Never. Would she kill a Muslim in her stomach? Never.
What is the fundamentalist and jihadi agenda for America?
The future of America has to...
Fascinating. Was that Dinesh D'Souza?
So that's is it Ganesh D'Souza? Ganesh D'Souza?
Yes. He's a liberal chap, but he at least engages in conversation.
Yeah. Okay. So hopefully that's come through somewhat. It's a very well-known clip.
There's a paradox. In America, we have a political left. It's a progressive left. As you know, it's sexually permissive. And this political movement appears strangely allied with radical Islam.
Right. If that clip is going to permit me to talk. Hopefully that came across well enough, everyone. This is something that is well known in Arab circles and within the religion of Islam. This is well known that leftists are always useful. They're always useful to scream victim. They're always useful to further the cause of intifada or the rising up against global oppression. They're so good. The left is so good at aligning with extremist causes, where those extremist causes
There's a paradox. In America, we have a political left. It's a progressive left. As you know, it's sexually permissive. And this political movement appears strangely allied with radical Islam. Can you explain this?
When I was an extremist,
so for those
Islamist,
of you who aren't
fundamentalist,
already,
I would
have a
only
look
vote left.
at the Imam.
Why is that?
I saw them
peace.
as very stupid.
Got no quarrel.
I would fear
with
the
imams
conservatives
or with
because
Muslims
they come
if
with
they
principle.
reject
That's
Islamic
not
extremism,
someone they can
called
brainwash.
Islamism,
But the
Islamist
left,
aggression,
I know they
or
have no
the
values
Islamic
and no
caliphate,
principles to begin
and
with.
decree and declare that
I dare you
Britain
to
is a
find one
Christian
Islamic
land.
extremist
No
that
quarrel
votes for Donald Trump.
with those people. You know
Never
that.
do it.
But I do have a major issue
They'd
with
give
the
their
number one
vote
threat to
to the
national
left
security, and I know
who
you share
wants
the same
to
sentiment.
run around
We've got a huge
in pride parades. And Islamic extremists are against gays and homosexuals and transgenders, but they want the left to go and get busy with that. They want them, go speak about the climate, go speak about abortion, go kill yourselves, go do that.
Back. I think we're back. But he has a good point. The Imam of Peace has a good... Firstly, is he not like the most clean-cut Imam you've ever seen? But secondly, he makes a good point in that, of course they want us to kill ourselves. Of course they want us to mutilate ourselves. Of course they want us to damage our own society so that they can take over. It makes common sense.
I'm just controlling my breathing now so that I don't end up flipping the table, Calvin. I have tried to. So I don't know whether you guys can hear what I can hear. I'm trying to stop the video, but it's.
I can't hear the video anymore. I've
it's
just seen it 3 times, but I can't hear it anymore.
So I haven't seen it once. I haven't seen it once. You've seen it 3 times. So let's. Our audio, all I've got is that on and now in the background there, just constantly. I've just got the Imam just constantly in my ear now. Yeah.
Technology is the worst.
Yeah. So that's. Yeah, so I'm now going to talk over the Imam of Peace in my ear, which is I've even deleted it from StreamYard as well, but it's just gonna keep talking. So look, the Imam of Peace there just said about that character. I think it's in New York, whatever, or in the Senate, whatever. Omar. Obviously, Calvin would know more about this than I would, but it's so ridiculous, the idea that someone who was of the faith would ever engage in abortion. It happens, but it's just out of the realms of possibility for people who are of the faith. And he's saying it right there. So again, the unholy alliance, the Islamists and the Muslims are happy for the leftists to just push all their nonsense and hopefully just wipe themselves out because it furthers their cause. And meanwhile, we get called Nazis, socially conservative patriots. We get called Nazis by communists who will be wiped out by the Islamists, as we've seen throughout history over and over again. We have, however, brought up the subject of abortion, and I've noticed that Calvin's been very busy just recently doing God's work, and he is incredibly well placed to help us out and talk about one of his tweets, which may or may not come up on my screen, but it is to do with the rising number of abortions in the UK. Now, I found this little statistic which hopefully is going to come up on everyone's screen. I don't think it's much to ask that it comes up on everyone's screen, but I might not get my way tonight. How well can you see that, Father?
I can see that perfectly.
Okay, cool. So everyone take a look at that. Everyone take a little look at that. Everyone take a look at the consequence of consequence-free environments. Let's take a look at the complete lack of accountability. Let's take a look at the my body, my choice, pro-freedom, pro-abortion. Let's take a look at the stats. So we are looking at a 60. Are you reading it the same way as me, Father? A 63% increase in what 6-7 years in abortion. Is that what that's saying?
100%. This is
Right.
So I first saw this graphic. Philip Pilkington put this out there, and I thought this can't be right. We can't have 48 abortions per 100 births. That cannot be right. We would literally be killing ourselves off. And so I did my own research and found that this is actually true. For every 100 births in Britain, there are 48 abortions. So we are literally killing off a third of all human beings. It's insane numbers. At the same time as a third of pregnancies end in abortion, to put it clearly. So that means that at the same time as when we're complaining, rightly so, about mass migration, both legal and illegal, we're rightly complaining about the replacement of the British people. It's partly or massively at the hands of the British people. Because I thought, okay, so if the birth rate is 1.4, right? So we're below the replacement rate of 2.1, which means, a mother and the father have at least 2 children to replace the mother and the father when they die, the natural cycle of life. But if we're below that 2.1 replacement rate, which we currently are at 1.4, we are no longer replacing ourselves. So if we have a replacement rate that is half what it needs to be, as well as for 1 in 3 pregnancies ends up with abortion, we are ending the British society. So I thought, okay, so how long is this going to take for it to properly end? By 2060. So 34 years from now, Britain will no longer be British. And that's if we don't change a thing. That's with the current migration rate, with the current abortion rate, with the current reproduction rate. So if we don't change a thing, our nation is going to be gone by 2060. And so what if we stopped abortion today? If we totally outlawed and ended abortion in Britain today, well, by tomorrow, the replacement rate would shoot up to 1.98, which is sustainable. That would mean that mother and father are replacing themselves, and the country would thrive, the society would survive, and we continue to be British. So all we need to do, we can and should solve immigration. Of course we should. But all we need to do to save our country is to stop killing our babies. It's as simple as that.
Sobering stuff, guys. I've got chills. What do you say back to that? Again, talk to me about the secular community. Talk to me about the agnostic and the atheist community. Talk to me about people that view certain people, certainly me, certainly Father, certainly lots of pro-lifers, socially conservative people who do their best as Christians, who decree and declare the one true God of the one true faith. We get called all sorts of things. What's the plan? There are statisticians and people far better than myself and probably Father combined who have done the mathematics on the whole 2.4, 2.1, 1.9, 1.8, 1.4 thing, and there is a zero barrier whereby if you haven't sorted it out by that point, there is no coming back from it. And meanwhile, socially conservative folk who do not identify as ethno-nationalist have to get called a traitor, or who have to be smeared by these people because they're so angry that they're being replaced. But as Father's rightly said, and the left aren't that, they're stupid, but sometimes they have moments. They've started to call us out. What's the plan? The more academic, the more educated ones. What's the plan, guys? You didn't stay at home in your communities. You left your churches. You chose materialistic atheism, being as far away from mum and dad as possible, the complete breakdown of the nuclear family. You chose that and debt. And this is referring to several different age groups, not just the millennials, the most afflicted. There's been others as well. And you stopped having babies. Oh, and then there's the issue of the abortions. So what are we supposed to do now? I'm saying we need a holy crusade. And then somebody says, well, you don't need Christianity to sort this out. It's really simple. If you don't need Christianity, biblical principles, strong Christian men and women, 100% rooted in their belief system, which is based on doctrine and biblical truths, then how is it going to work? What you mean secularism can solve this? You mean what atheism can solve? But we've had that on steroids for 50 years, maybe more. I mean, a lot more. I'm going to put another screen on the stage now, guys, which I think is a different one. I just want to echo. Hopefully, you guys can see that. I can't see that at all. But Calvin's put out a post on Instagram again with the stats. Can you read? Do you have access to that? Can you see that, Calvin?
Yeah. For every 100 births in Britain, there are 48 abortions. Nearly 1/3 of all pregnancies end in abortion. Only 2/3 of all babies in Britain are born. The rest are killed. This is mass infanticide. Lord, have mercy. The birth rate is 1.4, far below the replacement level of 2.1. If abortions ended now, the birth rate would shoot up to 1.98. We would practically eliminate any argument for mass migration. Way over 3/4 of all abortions in Britain are white. Is there a word for ethnic cleansing that is self-inflicted? If this continues as they are, Britain will no longer be British. And I've seen in the comments people like Daniel Ruin making good points that he said, we have lots of white British families that want to have more children, but it's funding it. And I reckon the way the country is, the government should be helping fund it. So there are two parts I want to address to that, if you can indulge me. One is that, yes, every single government department should be focused on the family, because the family is the core unit of our society, not the individual. We've been persuaded the other way by the liberals. It's not the individual. That leads to selfishness and wreckage, as we're seeing now. The core unit is the family. Every single government in every single policy should be putting the family first, should be incentivizing the family and reproduction, or procreation, or just basically encouraging people to get married, have children, and teach them the faith. However, it is not the job of the government to solve these issues for us. This is a societal problem that we can solve by getting married, having children, and teaching them the faith. And people often say things like, it's unaffordable. It's always been expensive to have children. But we are now richer than we've ever been in the history of humanity. We are the poor people in Western society are the richest they have ever been. And yes, things are still hard because inflation and prices go up, etc., etc. Taxes here, left, right, and center. I get it. Life is still hard. Life will always be hard. But we have the best opportunity now than we've ever had throughout human history to raise families. And so it's not an excuse to say I can't afford it. That's a liberal lie. The liberals want you to think you can't afford children. Of course you can afford children. You just have to reprioritize. It may mean you don't have a £1,000 smartphone in your pocket for both parents. It may mean just one family car. It may mean that you put the children and the family first over career prospects and schooling systems. It may mean doing what we used to do, in that the father goes out to work and the mother educates the children. It may mean all kinds of things, but there is a way to make it work if you want to. And it's such an excuse that I hear so often that we can't afford children, because the liberals have been saying it for so long. Either you can't afford them or they're bad for the environment. Both lies. Have children, get married, then have children, and then teach them their faith.
I don't know what to say, guys. I really don't. It's difficult for me. It really is. This isn't about judgment. This isn't about judgment at all. We're all sinners. We're all unworthy sinners. We're all repentant, unworthy sinners. But we're leading the charge at UKIP for a holy crusade, right? We've said that. Yeah, the general population is roughly speaking is aware of the fact that we're saying secularism hasn't worked, bit of a lie. Liberalism hasn't worked, bit of a lie. But also don't want to offend anyone. We're taking our country back. It's a holy crusade that's required. If we start having babies and stop having abortions, guess what? The media, the government, and all things commercial will recognize that and go, right, well, we better pound. Everyone's got a pound sign above their head. We better pander to those people because that's our business. And I keep saying this over and over again. There are so many great arguments that can be put forward to make people want to be part of this journey. But if people go, yeah, I heard that and that sounds great, but I also love my freedom, we haven't achieved anything. If we do all the stats and we do all the numbers, and then people hear it all and they've understood the mission, and then they don't course correct or behavior change, then we've achieved nothing, and we are running out of time every single day. And obviously then there's the illegal invasion, which continues. So I'm so impressed, as I always am, with what Father's said, with his stance and what he's saying. And again, the fact that he's clergy, it's so important. And of course, I'm in a really blessed parish. I'm blessed and based priests. There's no messing around in my parish. It's just take that, and it's reverent, and everyone gets it. But I mean, look, I sometimes think, who are we trying to wake up? Are we trying to wake up the normies? Are we trying to wake up the secular and the liberals? I think all that's left is to say to the Christian community, we want to achieve the Christian bloc vote, which says that we are going to protect the most vulnerable within society and deliver justice to our girls, such as the Christian command, Christian way of life, Christian ethos, method, mindset. And I think that's where I'm going with this, Father, is we've got no time left. So we're after the Christian bloc vote. If you're a Christian, and I don't mean a fake Christian, and you might have to help me out here with my language a little bit, because again, we're all unworthy, repentant sinners. But I'm interested. If you're a Christian, how can you be anything but socially conservative? Not every conservative is a Christian, true, but every Christian's a conservative. Can we just segue back to your opinion on that? And as someone, I don't want to put you in a bad spot, but as clergy, do you think that this needs to be said more and more? Like, could you be a socialist or a commie or a liberal and be a practicing Christian correctly? I think that's what I'm trying to say.
No, and let me just quickly say respect to Daniel. He said, love that response. And also respect to Carl Atkin, who said he's got, was it 8 kids at the age of 44. That is incredible. This is what we need to be doing, leading by example. I love this. And Olive Saunders as well says she's a mother of 6 now, all grown up. This is the way. We have literally one generation left to save our country. 34 years is just over a generation. But no, Nick is right. You cannot be a commie or a liberal and a Christian. And again, it's been one of the lies of the devil for a long time to persuade Christians that actually you can be more liberal, you can be more inclusive, you can be more diverse, you can be more equitable. Again, that's a different religion. That's woke. The Christian religion is naturally conservative, because socially conservative at the very least, because it teaches that the family is the core unit, and from that family we have the parish, from the parish we have the community, from the community with the nation, and these are all things we should love and protect, but not just love and protect. We should honor them. We should be obedient to them. We should serve them. We have a duty and an obligation to our family, to our parish, to our community, and to our nation. Like, we are a part of a greater whole, not just within those respects, but also, of course, within the church. We are a part of the body. We make up the bridegroom collectively, not as individuals, not on our own. You know, I often hear people say, I don't need church. I have Jesus all by myself, or I have a personal relationship, or I'm spiritual. These things are not true. These things are from the devil. The truth is, to be a Christian, you have to join the body of Christ. And the body is the church militant, the church triumphant, and the church penitent. And so the church militant is what we are here on earth together, members of Christ together. And he said, when 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I will be there. And so we have to gather in his name. We have to worship him. This is why receiving the Eucharist is so important, the most blessed sacrament of the altar, because we truly and presently receive Christ in our bodies. So we make up the body of Christ and we receive the body of Christ. These are the blessings that God gives to us. This is how we receive his grace. You know, the sacraments are a means of grace, but even if you're a non-sacramental Christian, you can still go to church and be a part of the church. And so when your church tries to push you towards liberalism, they're pushing you away from the church. And find a solid Orthodox church that doesn't do that. Find a solid Orthodox church that believes in the messages of Christ, that actually it's a good thing to love your family and to love your nation. It's a good thing to protect those, you know, both your family and your nation. And it's a bad thing to step away from the scriptures in terms of women pastors, in terms of affirming same-sex sin as a lifestyle choice, in terms of pretending you can change your gender. All these modern lies that we hear left, right, and center. If a church is teaching those things, it is not a part of the church. Find somewhere else. But there are plenty of good, solid, sound Orthodox churches to be a member of. So don't let it put you off, because that's what the devil wants. The devil wants a sinful person to persuade you that the church is sinful. And as Nick has pointed out, we're all sinners in our fallen nature. Of course we are. We all have the capacity to sin, but that doesn't mean we should be leaving the church. That means we need the church. The church is a hospital for sinners.
You're on fire tonight, Father. This is guys. This is the stuff, right? I think you said non-sacramental Christians there. Do you mean Protestants?
I do, yes.
Should we get into it? Oh, should we get into it?
So look, guys, you know why I'd say no? Just because we need to ally, right? And Protestants often want to get into it, and I don't think we as Catholics need to get into it, because we believe in the sacraments. We believe that we receive the grace of God through them, and we want to bring everyone into that. We want everyone to receive the sacraments, but we don't want to get stuck in the debate of what is this theology versus that theology. What we want to do is combine as one church together to fight the evil that is all around us.
So what I want to say before we move on, guys, is I asked Father the question which needs to be asked, which is, can you be a proper practicing, devout, whatever you want to call it, Christian, and a liberal and a socialist and or a commie or a Marxist, right? So anything from the center, so away from social conservatism. He didn't blink, he didn't flinch, and that's a difficult one. I didn't mean to trap him, but that's a difficult one. Because if you go with if you're a liberal, speak to your brothers and sisters about being Christian and being liberal. Well, if you're liberal, gays should get married in churches. If you're liberal, then it's like, oh, well, abortion is okay in certain circumstances, for example. If you're liberal, then love is love. It doesn't matter to me as long as you're happy and you're doing what makes you happy. And then you got all this other nonsense like, what is it when people say finding my person or something like that, or the word partner is used rather than man and woman? It's all of it. All of it. It's either biblical doctrinal truth and we live our lives by that, and for Christianity that means social conservatism, or it's a slippery slope to something watered down, something weaker, something essentially blasphemous against. And that's why I keep saying about, look, our mission at UKIP, guys, is a holy crusade to save Britain. I'm never going to get bored of saying it. Last summer, Reform returned 4 MPs, right? People are still backing Reform. They're still backing Nigel. Last summer, they returned 4 MPs. They can't do anything in the Commons. The Lib Dems and Greens have just as much power as Labour do. We're going to come on and talk about immigration in a moment. They have just as much power as Labour supermajority. That's what happens when you're a rising star, when you're a rising power. Reform have no power. And it's just been an endless farce, like with regards to Rupert's treatment, and there's a few other bits and pieces in there. So more and more, and I seek Father's counsel on this, and also ask you guys, the viewers, the voters as well, what's the plan? What have I got to do to make you sign up to UKIP's mission? It's a holy crusade. We're taking our country back. There's nothing left. What, the Tories? What you mean after lockdown? What you mean after the last, 20, 25 years in terms of how much form they've got? What, we're all turning our heads towards Labour now. We should all join Labour because Shabana Mahmood said something moderately right-wing. I'm calling for a holy crusade. Now, look, there's about 2,500 people watching this. There's a banner running along the bottom of the screen. If you haven't already, guys, go to ukip.org and join, become a member. It's £30 a year to join a political party. There'll be people out of the 2,500 that have never joined a political party before. They don't even know what it means. Don't worry about it. If you're not part of a political party, you're not funding it. So if that political party disappears, there is no more political party. This is hang in there time, guys. It's life or death. Get onto ukip.org, become a member. And once you've become a member, we update you with regards to how the party is here to help and support you campaign locally in your area, and how to build teams of activists to inspire your neighbors and your brothers and sisters living within your community via, obviously, a targeted marketing campaign. And all of a sudden, you'll look back in 5 years' time and go, wow, joining UKIP was the best thing I ever could have done. You don't see the result that second, but 5 years on, you will be a fully fledged crusader / activist trying to take the country back, because we live in a first past the post system. And if we don't use the political solution that UKIP is offering, we are going to lose. We're going to be outbred. The Islamic Caliphate and the Unholy Alliance will take over. Who's running parliament, guys? Between red, yellow, and green, that's the Unholy Alliance. They're running this country. We have to be in their shoes. We have to be in those positions. Go to ukip.org and join up today. You've all got to become a member of a political party, guys. I don't want to hear it. Excuses. I've given up. There's no point. No, we have another shot at this, but it's potentially our last. Let's get on to the subject of Shabana Mahmood's Home Secretary. Let's get on to the subject of her immigration announcement, where I could have picked a much better picture, but it doesn't matter because we're going to talk about it anyway. This is Shabana Mahmood's big moment, guys, where essentially I was able to produce about a 5-minute face to camera, which is available on my social media, where upon seeing the headline, and I've got teams of people around me, they send me these links and I dissect the information, etc. It looks like a win. Shabana Mahmood is saying, do you know what, guys? I'm going to get really tough on immigration. So I'm going to get the illegals to sell their jewelry and their assets, and then they're going to use that money to be able to sustain themselves here. Nothing about mass deportations. I'm going to ensure that even the women and children who are here, or who came here illegally, rather, that they go as well. Okay, fine. We want to hear about mass deportations. And there's some other things as well. We're going to remove the benefits and the incentives. Yep, great, got all that. I want mass deportations. These people have to be rounded up by soldiers who are armed, and they have to be put on flights and boats and sent away. Processing. This is not hard to do at all. It doesn't matter where they're processed. We can get to all of that. I mean, the fact that UKIP's worked all this out it's detailed in our policies. But again, it doesn't matter. We would remove them. We've got the capabilities to do this. So it seems like a big win. Now, if we are to interpret Mahmood's shift in policy as a win, that means then the patriotic right have realized that if we get up off our backsides and go and make a fuss at street level, you know, these things called protests, demos, events, you know, where you go and fly a flag and stand shoulder to shoulder with your brothers and sisters and say, do you know what? Illegal immigration is the hill I die on, which I agree is a good hill to die on. I think that's a sensible campaign to die on. It's cultural suicide, having illegal immigration. All of a sudden, the mainstream media take note of you. Then the government take note of you, right? We have this thing called the mainstream media, right? We have this thing called the government, law enforcement. They've got to take notice of you. That's what happens when you make a fuss. Have any of you watching this got kids? Have you ever seen them throw a tantrum? Have you ever seen that tantrum go on until they wear you down and you as mum or dad go, do you know what? I can't bear it anymore. Just give them the whisper. Or just give them the Mars bar or whatever it is they're after. Just give it to them because I cannot be bothered with it anymore, right? You're exhausted. You're a parent. It's the same thing, same principle, at least. And what do we know about the Unholy Alliance and how they scream and shout at street level for years at a time, depending on what their campaign is? It attracts mainstream media attention. It attracts sponsorship. The government have to listen. So this is what we talk about when we say pressure works. Activism works, lobbying works. That's if, Father, I'll come in with you in a second. If we are to interpret this as a patriotic win for the right, but have mass deportations begun? No. Do we have anything concrete? No. It's just the online Twitter sphere. If you look for this on Facebook, you're not going to find it. You're not going to find it on Instagram. It's politicians like Shabana, in my opinion, and what I covered off in my face to camera, saying to Twitter, to X, I've got this great big announcement to make. I'm now the new shiny thing that you want to play with. I'm really great. Like, we're just going to forget that you're part of Labour, and we're just going to forget that you were Justice Secretary when all of our patriotic brothers and sisters were being slung in jail, which is a command that you worked with your team with on, etc. You were Justice Secretary at the time. It's absolutely infuriating. It's like saying, oh, let's forgive the Tories because, you know, Bobby J came out with something mildly socially conservative, or I don't know, pro-Christian or anti-abortion. It's absolute nonsense. What do you think, Father, handing over to you, is Labour now going to do the business with regards to immigration, or this is the hill that most people die on? This is absolutely seismic. Are they going to do the business, or are they lying?
Oh, they're clearly lying. This is. I just saw on Mahmoud's Twitter, she's going to open up new safe and legal routes for refugees. But this is what they do. So they want the right to go quiet, and they understand that most people in our country now are sick and tired of mass migration, both legal and illegal. It's too much. And so every mainstream party is talking about it. So Labour has to address it. And what they want is for us to shut up about it, to go quiet about it. So they throw some fake red meat out there. Yeah, we're going to limit refugees to temporary stays. We're going to get them to fund their own vapes instead of getting the taxpayer to pay for their vapes. And then on the other hand, what they're actually implementing is more routes for these refugees to come into our country. So there will actually be more asylum seekers under Shabnam Mahmoud's new policies than there will be closed down. It's a lie. She's speaking out of both sides of her mouth is what she's doing. But this is what Labour are good at, right? This is what mainstream politicians are good at.
I tell you who's good at lying and deceiving. Islamists. I tell you who's good at lies and deceit, and while screaming victimhood as well. Islamists. I will, as ever, extend my hand to the moderate Muslim community and use the word Islamist. But when you know so much about lying and deceit and taqiyya coming out of Shabana's mouth, I'm inclined to agree, guys. I really am. I think it's lies. I think she's lying. It's to silence. People wake up in the mornings like, we're winning, etc., and they got their head in Twitter 24/7. That's not real life. X isn't real life. You take X out of the equation, you've still got an enormous country out there with loads of people not having a clue about anything that we're talking about, which is why you have to campaign locally. And you're not going to campaign locally by yourself. Where are you going to start? How's it going to be funded? What does that look like? What would you even do? It's got to be behind a political war machine. We've got to get the message out there. We've got to get the message into our manners and into our communities, guys. You've got to join UKIP. You've got to pledge your support to UKIP. You've got to jump on the team for the big win. Now, talking of immigration, I'm going to show you guys and say a quick Hail Mary. This is me confronting a trafficker in northern France. We're talking about immigration and the invasion. Father and I agree she's lying. We'll hold a good thought. Right, quick prayer. Here we go. Confronting an Afghani trafficker in northern France.
Where are you going, guys? Where are you going?
We backpack in jungle.
Where are you going?
1 minute and see.
Where have you come from?
Yeah? Well, let me translate and see what.
Where are you going to?
Where you going?
You're saying jungle.
Where? Donde? Dove? Where? Where? Where is the jungle?
1 minute.
I'll take the torch out his eyes, it's alright.
Where have you come from, guys? What country? What? Somalia? You? Somalia? Sudan. Where are you going? To Britain? To Britain? To England?
Yes.
You are coming to England.
Why are you coming to England?
No, in English.
We don't want you in England.
Our backpacks are in the forest. There is a sleeping bag. Water is in the forest. We need to pick it up. Okay.
Okay.
So where have you come from? Where's your home?
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan. And you go to you get a boat to England.
Yes.
Yeah. You with the traffickers, the people smugglers.
Translation.
How much have you paid?
You go to England on a boat. You pay the people smugglers, the traffickers, to come to England.
Yes. The boat.
Boat. And tonight? Tonight?
No. It's cancel. На сегодня отменили все отбой. Нам надо поехать, рюкзаки свои взять и возвращаться в лесу.
They cancelled for today, all lights out. We need to go get our backpacks and go back into the forest. Which way? This way?
This. We go here. The backpack is here.
Where is this? Oi Plage 62215. You walk there?
Yes.
You walk.
Yes.
How many of you? How many? 1, 2.
Combien?
Combien? How many migrants in the camp? Okay. Okay, you go this way?
Yes.
Okay.
Could do with a universal translator.
Let's just get rid of this.
Get rid of Mahmoud. Yes, please.
Now. Yeah, she's doing my head in. I really don't like her at all. So look, guys, you've just seen there. For those of you who aren't on, well, by definition of watching this, I guess you are on social media. Everyone needs to see that clip of me confronting with my team the Afghani trafficker. Look, I don't care whether they get rough. I don't care if they sing like a canary. I'm going to get what I want, right? It's 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever it is. We've been on patrol for, I don't know, probably coming up to 10, 11, 12 hours, and we're not going to bed till 8, 9 o'clock the next morning. We have an operational system and process when we go to Calais with a very credible and professional team. You know, we know what we're doing. I'm not leaving. I want to find where these people are. I'm going to confront them, and when they get in the boat, I'm going to stop them. Like, that's it. Of course, this is our duty. So this is what we're up against in northern France, guys. And we've documented through mine and UKIP social media. We've documented that these people arrive in France. They get to northern France. They're looked after by lefty NGOs, lefty mindsets, lefty money. They're fed, they're watered, they're clothed. They're looked after by the left. They're kept safe by the left, you name it. And then eventually between the left, the commies and the people smugglers, the traffickers, they work together to ensure that these people are essentially ferreted from Calais, Dunkirk, Dieppe, wherever, ferreted to a departure zone. Now, between where they are stored and the departure zone, this could be 5 miles, 10 miles. They might have to chop and change their route. They might have to use buses. We've seen an awful lot of them running around, as you've seen, we've documented, running through the fields, etc., etc. This campaign in Calais has reached phase 2. So we've done phase 1, we've done phase 2. We're now regrouping to execute phase 3. Phase 3 can't be done without your help. It cannot be done without you backing us. So if the British people want activists, let's go back to our chat about the media. If the British people want teams of activists to make a big enough splash that and now bear with me now, where the mainstream media can't ignore it and shows it, the government are going to see it, and the government or governments, French and British, will work together to say, right, we've got to do something about this. And that's why there's risk attached to what we do, because if it goes the wrong way, then they'll obviously either try and kill us or lock us up. But if it goes the right way, this, again, is the famous explaining of the British mindset. Lobbying worked, pressure works, being part of a group works. You're not actually trying to take power, right? You're just pushing the government. the establishment, the established order to do things. But what we're saying at UKIP is we want to take that establishment out. We want to rip out the rot and put in something good, something holy. That is Christianity. We want to take back our country and deliver justice to our girls, because the work doesn't stop with mass deportation. It doesn't stop by closing the borders. Our work doesn't end there. And that's why I keep saying, I think what we're after and what we're doing, guys, is a holy crusade. That means Christian knights need to step forward, become community leaders, and become one of my candidates to win in the general election. I think that's what I'm saying, guys. But you can't stand as a candidate. You can't do the political stuff without being a member of a party. You've got to be vetted. You've got to be a member. You've got to pay your subs. Go to ukip.org, guys. Get on there now. Go to ukip.org, become a member, and then let the party, once you put your name forward to stand as a candidate or what I call a community leader, we will go from there. Now, before I forget, guys, and before we start to close up, I am going to be in Hillingdon on Saturday. I think it's a 12 p.m. kickoff. It's Hillingdon. This is the area where our brother Wayne Broadhurst was taken from us. Was it 49-year-old Wayne? God rest his soul. It's hit us all really hard. A guy like Wayne should never have been killed. He's been killed by an Afghani who should never have been here. And this guy decided just to do him with a knife. Right. Okay. So it's right there. So we've all understood the mission, right? So Wayne and all those other people that should never have died, we're not going to let them die in vain, right? So we're going to take our country back, right? So we're all going to get behind UKIP and the Holy Crusade to not just close the borders and begin mass deportations, but to reinstate Christianity back into the heart of government and to deliver justice to our most marginalized communities and to the girls as well. So we've all understood the mission, right? So when I go to Hillingdon on, just get this image up. When I get this, when I go to Hillingdon on Saturday, we're not just marching to shout. We're not just speaking to shout. We're not just there because we've been told to go there. We're going there because it's all part of the groundswell behind UKIP leading the Holy Crusade to save Britain, because it doesn't end with mass deportations. It doesn't end there. Let's say Shabana Mahmood goes through with it. The Labour's majority is compromised by the impactfulness of the yellow and green alliance in Parliament. So there's no guarantee that anything's going to happen. Take a look at what's on the screen, guys. They're calling me a Nazi. They're calling me a Nazi because I raised my fist. They're calling me a Nazi. They're putting a red dot on my head because they know that some communist extremist who genuinely thinks they're fighting against Nazis will take me out. That's why they're doing it. The left who call me a Nazi, the liberals, those very, very sick individuals, they are asking, they are dog whistling to somebody to kill me. That's what they're doing. And this is in Hillingdon, where my message is in remembrance of Wayne, God rest his soul. My message is we need to close the borders and begin mass deportations because we've got too many people in Britain, you know, the suspected 1 to 2 million invaders. We all know that it's way more than that, who have subversive intent, who have murderous intent, who want to rape, harm, intimidate, threaten, assault. You know, all those guys, you know, like the guy that killed Wayne, God rest his soul. You know, my message is that we need to sort our country out. And there's a way to do that, like many other countries would do. And they're calling me a Nazi in opposition to that message. It's as disgusting and as despicable as it gets. These people will show us no diplomacy, no surrender whatsoever. I'm in Hillingdon on Saturday at 12, and I'm in Crowborough, where it is all kicking off. No different from Epping earlier this year, and in Rushmore as well at the Potters Hotel when it's kicked off there over the years. It's now kicking off in Crowborough. Middle-class, leafy Crowborough is now witnessing what happens when it's in your backyard, bro, and they don't like it. But arguably, it's quite liberal middle class. What's the plan? Are you going to, what, you're going to back the Tories if you're a constituent in that type of area? You're going to back reform? Or is it going to be, well, we need a holy crusade, right? I mean, like, obviously, but we don't like our religion and we don't like our, we quite like our godlessness, you know, we quite like our liberal lifestyles. You can't have it both ways, guys. And this goes to the entire UK. I'm really looking forward to Hillingdon on Saturday. and I'm really looking forward to Crowborough on Sunday. But the reality is that no one wants to be there or wants to be having to do this or be called into action. Some of us love it. I love it. It's brilliant. But it's like the occasion is awful, right? Like people are going to get murdered. People are going to get raped. Girls are going to get raped. People are going to get murdered as a result of an open border policy. Now, before we close up, I'm going to do some quick fire screenshots, Father, and I want you to take over here. This is an announcement that's been made today, whereby Supreme Court judges in Northern Ireland have said that Christian-focused RE taught in Northern Ireland is unlawful. So Christian-focused religious education in Northern Ireland is unlawful. So for those of you who aren't aware of this story, I'm going to hand over to Father. For those of you who aren't aware, what it's basically saying is that it's bias. So there should be no emphasis on Christianity because you've got all of these religions over here. I wonder what religion they're pandering to. I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head, Father. Who are they pandering to?
Yeah, I've seen this. I haven't commented on it publicly yet, but I will do later. The problem is this isn't new. This is already what we have in the rest of the UK. So I remember I used to be in education, and quite a few of my RE teachers, or RS, as it's sometimes called, religious education or religious studies, quite a few of them used to teach RE from a Christian perspective. They used to say, this is a Christian school, this is a Christian country, we're going to teach you Christianity, but we'll also teach you a bit of what other people believe. And then that was demolished, basically, to the point that they have to choose to teach another major faith as equally important to Christianity, and most of them chose Islam. And so most of the schools in London now, I imagine that's the same across most of the UK, are teaching Islam as a major topic in RE, when of course we should be teaching mostly Christianity and how to be a good Christian. And so this announcement of Northern Ireland wasn't surprising to me, because it's just following the way of the rest of us, who we are leading the way in this debauchement, in this breaking down of our faith. And it's a great shame, because we still are Christian countries. We still are Christian nations, and that should be the paramount of what we teach. It should be the foundation. We can say, yeah, this is what the Mohammedans believe, this is what the Sikhs believe, this is what the Buddhists believe, etc., as well as, but we should be focusing primarily on Christianity.
Take a look at that, guys. We are going to finish this topic before we go anywhere. This has caused outrage. This is quite a quick fire round, as Father rightly says, because this is nothing new, and this happens all the time. Tesco's are now selling their Christmas trees. I don't really get it. I like a tree. I want to smell the tree. You know, I don't want a fake tree, but I know that they're very popular. Whatever, I don't know, whatever people want to do. But the Telegraph have put this up, and you guys, I'm sure you've seen it. It's gone fairly viral. Tesco's on the box. It's an evergreen tree. The word Christmas isn't in there. It's a Christmas tree. It's been a Christmas tree since the start. You know the word Christ in Christmas. No, you don't need to overthink it, guys. It's a Christmas tree. So what are your thoughts? Let me get your thoughts on that, Father.
Just don't buy them. If anyone's removing Christmas from anything, just don't buy them. Like, speak with your wallet. Brother, I'm going to have to go in a second because we're over time, and I've got spiritual direction to lead in a minute.
We are going to 100% wrap up now, because you have spiritual direction, and we need spiritual direction from you. We need spiritual direction from the clergy. So let me just start by saying, I've put one more screen up there where it says BBC News announced Regent Street is to go car free for Festive Fun Day. Again, the word festive.
What's a festive fun day?
It's a festive fun day is where I flip my table and smash my fist against the wall because I can't take another second of any of it. I'm laity, so I get to say that. But we need more clergy saying that, I think, because
too many people, too many Christians are sitting at tables they were sent to flip. That is the truth of the matter.
Too many Christians are sitting at tables they were meant to flip. I can't end on a better note than that. I'm angrier now than when I started, but I'm pumped. I'm motivated. I'm inspired. Guys, I have massively gone over here, and I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone for dialing in, for listening in, for tuning in. A massive thank you to Father Calvin. We are going to start at the later time next Wednesday of 7:30. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you so much, Father, for being with us. God bless you. God bless you all. Join UKIP. Holy Crusade. We're taking our country back. Good night.
Amen.
Oh.
The graceful end.
that's it. Just bosh. End stream. We'll see how that works out, and then
if
yeah,
you all
so,
donate, we can get Nick a better internet connection. How about
that? Yeah. I honestly, it is just beyond, because I do you know what? Let's talk about it offline. Let's talk. Apparently, there's nothing more I can do, and